Brown on Cleveland and the Little Hut podcast. Come on. Sunday afternoon, 7 p.m. inside the hut. Well, good evening or good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Little Hut podcast. My name is Kimberly F. Brown with Brown, that damn Brown on Cleveland. So as always, shake your pom-poms, shake your pom-poms, shake your pom-poms. Damn it, shake your pom-poms. Sunday evening, one day before Monday, when we all have to get up and go to work and play and have fun and make that money, and more money. Unless you are a millionaire, like my guest today. Listen,
That's not true at all.
I don't know, but this is my show, right? And if I want to put it up in the atmosphere, then let me shake my pom-poms, shake my pom-poms, shake my pom-poms. But at any rate, hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday afternoon. By the way, it's beautiful outside. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my God, it's so wonderful. Yes, it is.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Right.
Just right.
Right. But today we have a special guest. And just in case you don't know, I am dedicating Sundays to candidates who are running for office. Now, here's the caveat with this. Here's the clincher. If you are a write-in candidate, you cannot come to the Little Hut podcast. We do not entertain write-in candidates. Now, some of you guys may say, why Brown? They're candidates. Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because our belief is if you did not put in the sweat equity and the grind and the time, then you're not deserving to sit next to Brown on Cleveland. I only will sit with the best. I only will sit with people who have really showed that they really care about the city and that they're not trying to take the easy way out. So I don't care about what y'all say. This is a rule when you come to Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. Now, please let me introduce you to our mayoral candidate who's running for the city of Cleveland. She's chasing Cleveland City Hall. Help me welcome Laverne Gore to the Little Hut podcast. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Kim. I really appreciate you having me on your show. I really do.
Very good. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yes, it has.
And it's always great to have a conversation with you.
Thank you.
But the interesting thing is the last time that you and I sat to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, indifferent regarding the city of Cleveland was back in 2009. Just in case you guys don't know, myself and Candidate Gore, we were part of the 2009 mayoral race against the big whale, the big shark, Frank G. Jackson. But that's in the past. Now we're at 2025, and Candidate Gore is going to talk to us this evening about her vision for the city of Cleveland. But before we get into the particulars, for people who don't know you, Candidate Gore, please tell us who you are. Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. Thank you.
All right, Kim. Well, born and raised in Cleveland, Uh, Huff area is where I was born. Grew up on 93rd and Woodland, or across from the Woodland Rec. Went to the Cleveland Public School System. Had two great parents. Didn't have a lot of money, but there
Okay.
were 9 kids, and they always made sure that we were fed, clothed, and had an identification with God. And I think that was probably the biggest motivator in our life, because my father was a very strict father, but with love. Went to the Cleveland Public School Systems, left there, got a scholarship to the Claremont Colleges, and got my degree in economics from the Claremont Colleges, Pitzer College specifically. Went to go on to get my master's in education, adult learning and development. My specialty is senior and elderly populations. I also went on to the Northeast Ohio College of Medicine, and I got my MPH, Master's in Public Health. And again, my group population that I like to study was senior population. It's gerontology, as you probably well know.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that we have an obligation to make sure that our seniors are not only educated about the ins and out of their health care, but as from a public health standpoint, we're living longer, and we need to know how to live the best life that we can. That being said, I lived like 10 minutes from where I grew up. I live in the Shaker Buckeye area now. It's a very nice community. I just bought a house, and I'm redoing the house. I bought a house that's built back in 1922, and
Okay.
it's a treasure, but it's been something I'm working on for a long time. So I'm happy. I have 3 children. I'm a widower. Was married to a great guy for a number of years,
Okay.
and my children are grown. And I think that I'm a small business owner, which has been very profitable for me. I don't try to deny that. I do training, executive training and development. I do consulting. We have done contracts with the state. We've done contracts, major corporations, and I am pretty much satisfied. And oh, let me tell you about my dog. I have a dog, and he's like the best thing. He's my companion now.
Well, I'm a dog lover as well. I have a
Okay.
Shih Tzu.
You have a
Yes.
Shih Tzu? I have a
Yes.
pit bull, and
Oh,
his name is Preston. And
okay.
he's probably the nicest thing that one of the nicer things that's happened in my life. I think this adventure that I'm on, as far as the mayoral race is concerned, is something that I can do now, because God has been extremely good to me. And I tell people that I was at a function last night, and I said, you have to give back. You have to
Mm-hmm.
get to a point that when you come up like I did, we didn't have any money, but we had a lot of love. And I think when you get to that point, that you realize that if you can look back at where you were born and how you were raised, and say to yourself, we didn't have any money,
Mm-hmm.
that God has been good to me, and he's been good to my entire family. So it's my turn to give back. And of course, I've done clothing drives around the city. I've done various leadership training, the Sarah J. Harper Leadership Institute, and God
Mm-hmm.
rest the judge. And we've done a lot of things here, as far as, we've done plays, and we've done things that have excited the city, or what
Mm-hmm.
I thought was exciting.
Okay.
We lived all over the world. My husband and I, he was a defense contractor with Lockheed Martin. So we had an opportunity to live in different parts of the world. But it always comes back to Cleveland. We've always kept a home here in Cleveland.
Very good. So
Mhm.
you're very well cultured, one would say. Real
Yes,
quick, candidate Gore,
yes.
uh, what ward do you reside in?
It's Ward 4 now, and it will be Ward 3.
Ward 3. Okay, well, let's get down to the get down, because I'm going to clap for everything you said today. So you're running for mayor for the city of Cleveland.
Hmm.
With everything that you've done in your life,
Hmm.
and it's just you and the pit bull Preston,
Yes.
why run for mayor for the city of Cleveland? What is it that sparked your interest to say, you know what, hey, I got to get up and do something about my city? Not complain, but be part. Candidate Gore under the hot light and the hot seat on Brown on Cleveland.
One of the things is that you know that I supported the current mayor when he first ran and when
Okay.
he's ran. I did support him, and I put a lot of energy in trying to make sure that he was aware of things that I was aware of within the city, because I think that young people need to have that type of involvement in their communities. But after you sit on the couch for so long, as you say, you know, you don't want to rest on your laurels. But I saw nothing was happening in the city of Cleveland. I was talking to a lot of my business associates that are in corporate America, and they were saying, I said, why don't you come to Cleveland? You need to come to Cleveland. And then I became very aware of some things that were not changing. When we're talking about an educational system, they're saying, Laverne, we can't hire entry level employees because your school system is not on par. You have housing issues in Cleveland. You have child trafficking issues in Cleveland. You have crime issues in Cleveland. Well, this is a city that I love. I I think Cleveland is probably, if you put it on a scale of 1 to 10, I think it's better than New York because it is a neighborhood. I mean, I know people from all over the city because it's a big, small town. And it's a wonderful city. We have Major League Baseball, we have Major League Football, we have Major League Basketball. And we're getting a WNBA.
Mhm.
And then after all that's said and done, we have a park system that is incredible. We have a hospital system that is #3 in the nation. So you have all of the key ingredients to make an incredible city, but that's not what was happening. So I started reviewing the leadership and I started going to meetings downtown and saying, what's going on down here? Just seeing for myself. And when I saw that we have a serious problem here in the fact that, and you don't like to disparage anybody, but we possibly don't have the maturity
Let
in our
me
leadership that
let
we should have.
yeah,
Go on.
let me interject here.
Go on.
Um, it's never about disparaging anyone. What we practice here on Brown on Cleveland is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So people want to hear Candidate Gore being very candid and very honest about the obstacles that's preventing our city from moving forward. So we appreciate that.
Okay.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
want you to understand that I'm always honest.
Yes.
I don't have that opportunity to lie to anybody about anything. But if you
Great.
look at a city that
Mhm.
has all of the key ingredients to be great, we have great educations, we
Mhm.
have colleges, and we have a failing school system. We had $511 million
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was put to us with unencumbered
Mhm.
expenses, and we did nothing with it. That focuses directly on the type and the quality and the maturity of the leadership here. We didn't do anything with the neighborhoods. I had a hole in front of my house for 6 months,
Mhm.
just a hole. And you're seeing sinkholes come now. People are falling into the street right over here on Coit Road.
Yes.
I was at a meeting and I talked to one of
Mhm.
the people that are on the school board and I said, we have a D- rating and I'm giving that speech. She got up and she said, no, Mrs. Gore, we don't have a D-. And I said, then please stand up. And I stopped my speech to give it to her. She said, we have a D. So anytime we've become socially accepted to telling our children that a D is acceptable in a public school system, but you have to go even farther than that. We have a 66% illiteracy ratio in the city of Cleveland. Out of the Cleveland, and these people are graduating from the Cleveland Metropolitan Schools. I don't know if you've been into public housing lately. If you've been, we are
Mhm.
underhoused. We have no affordable housing. The mayor told us that and forgive me, the mayor told us that he had solved the homeless dilemma. And then I drive down right across the street at the Cosgrove Center, and
Okay.
there's tents back down there. Now I don't know how he got rid of them for his summit, but they're back. I mean, I don't know if somebody said, "Hey, you can go on vacation." I don't know what happened, but they are back.
Let me-
People are publicly defecating in
That is
right on
true.
Superior Avenue. And from a public health perspective, and there are some health illnesses, reasons and rationale down there. But if you have those type of illnesses and you do need help, then we should be able to provide them. When you have a $511 million, a lot of us, our neighborhoods should not be in jeopardy right now. Our schools are in jeopardy. Our neighborhoods are in jeopardy. Yet you layer us with tremendous amounts of bureaucracy. Now you have deputy directors, you have directors, and nothing is getting done here.
Let's
Go on. I'm
Candidate
sorry.
Gore, let's go back a tad. I want to go back to the issue regarding our young people, and you talked about how, not in your words, how now people are seeing a D as being normal when education is supposed to be of excellence. Can you please explain to our listeners the dire impact that our young people will have on our future economy if they're not being educated today? What's going to happen tomorrow? What is the forecast, Brown on Cleveland?
It's not a good forecast, and
Mm-hmm.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but one of the things you have to look at, if in fact you do not have an educated population, major corporations hire their entry level people from the high school graduates, that come out of your school system.
Yes.
So if you're not trained, if you can't read, then corporations don't look at us any longer. They're saying we cannot hire entry level positions.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't hire entry level positions, then they don't look at us as a valuable place, location to come to. When I talk to somebody in, let's just give, for example,
Okay.
Chicago, and I say, listen, you have not seen Cleveland yet. You need to get here to Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
because if you get here to Cleveland, you're going to love it. And then they tell me that you people can't read, Laverne. Your people are graduating out of high school and can't read. Well, when I graduated, not when I graduated, we were 25th in the nation. That means when you came out of school, if you went to John Hay, you came out being capable of doing secretarial skills. You came out of John Adams, you had the capacity to do advanced placement and think on a higher level. You came out of Max Hayes, you
Mm-hmm.
could do carpentry, you could do auto mechanics. You had skills. Our children, in my case, my grandchildren, are not capable of doing anything. If they can't read, then they
Yes,
can't
ma'am.
functionally produce for a corporation to come here. And now you have something that I think that many of us have overlooked. When I was a kid, we came up here, my family came up from South, and we
Mm-hmm.
moved from technology. We were moving from agriculture to come up here to work in the steel mills. My dad worked in the steel
Mm-hmm.
mills. He also went to a trade school and learned lithography, which is printing,
Mm-hmm.
and he belonged to the union, so he could take care of a family. And my mother also was a nurse. Okay, so and she graduated from Huron Road School of Nursing. So you had people capable of doing things and making a living for themselves. Okay, if you take that now, there is no opportunity for our children. Our children, and I'm not talking about anybody's kid living in the basement, because
No,
my
no.
kids lived in the basement until they got going. That's how it is.
Oh, that's right.
But
Yeah.
they won't come out of that basement.
Right.
But to have a school board member tell me that no, we don't have a D minus, we have a D, and be proud of that. That's where I'm saying to you, corporations won't come here. Nobody's going to hire our children because they're not prepared to do anything. One of the things that I saw in the Wall Street Journal, and I'll just share this with you, in cities like Cleveland, which are majority minority, we do more emphasis on the prom than we do on reading. And I'm not mad at anybody, but if people have noticed that, we place more emphasis on the
Yes.
prom than we do making sure that your child can read. And I'm not blaming teachers, I'm not blaming anybody, but we do have to get to a point that our children become very important because they're our future.
Very good. Candidate Gore, real
Yes.
quick, because I want to wrap up the education
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
If you are elected, the first 30 days dealing with our school system, because in Cleveland it's under mayoral control,
Mm-hmm.
you would be the chief executive over the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, what would be your first goals within the first 30 days dealing with our school system? Brown on Cleveland, let's wrap this topic up and move on to something else.
Okay, as an educator, my first 30 days would be spending going to visit every single school in this district, because I know if the problem is the education, then it's the problem. I got to go see it. I'd go visit every single school and talk to every administrator. I want to know what's going on in these schools, that we can't produce children that are literate. That's what I want to do. I want to find out what the problem is.
Okay.
I've been a parent, I've been a teacher, so I understand.
Very
Show me.
good.
Okay.
There you go. Candidate Gore,
Yes.
how would you work with Cleveland City Council members? Relationships are so important. And we know that council serves as a check and balance to the administration.
Hmm.
So, how would you work with council in order to get your plans across? So, therefore, we know things won't be 100%, but how do you work with a group of people who've been there for years and years and years and who will probably get reelected for years and years and years, being a newcomer, Brown on Cleveland?
When you say a newcomer, I've been a citizen and a resident of Cleveland, so I don't think I'm a newcomer. And I
Okay.
always thought that the council and the mayor work for me. So they work for me.
All right.
I pay their salaries and they work for me.
As the mayor.
As the mayor. Now, let's get to the mayor.
As the mayor.
As the mayor, we're going to have to remember how I'm going into those schools and talk to those teachers and talk to those administrators about what they're doing.
Yes.
The council is a check and balance, but we
Yes.
saw in this council that everything that was proposed by the mayor got approved by the council. So it was one and the same. There was no checks and balance, or I couldn't see it, because if that be the case, then we would not have had the same type of problems that we
I got to give you some on there. I got to give you some. Go ahead.
Problems that we have now. So we know there were no checks and balances.
Okay.
But we have to take it to the people, because if you have a city council that does not want to cooperate and does not, well, it doesn't seem like as the mayor, I'll have a lot of problems, because this mayor didn't have any problems. The people got nothing. If you've looked at your communities, you got nothing. Look at the sinkholes. Look at the crime. Look at, I mean, I'm sorry.
Wait,
I want to talk to him.
Candidate Gore, I have to say this to you.
Yes.
During the last mayoral election,
Yes.
we were over at Sanctuary Baptist Church.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Kelly, remember the general was between Kevin Kelly and Justin Bibb.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Kelly told us during the forum that the city of Cleveland purposely ignored the East Side wards. I'm going to say it again. He stood up at the microphone and told a group of African Americans, because that's who was there,
Mm-hmm.
about 200 people, that the East Side neighborhoods were purposely ignored. Respond to that. You say what? What would be different under the Gore administration? Here again, if you just tune it in, I got candidate Laverne Gore, bold enough to sit with Brown on Cleveland in the hot seat under the hot light. She came to a place where most elected officials fear, Brown on Cleveland.
I have to suggest to you that Kevin Kelly was interesting. And so, and I didn't vote for him. Okay. Maybe that was a mistake. I don't know. I guess what I'm suggesting to you is that you don't have to have me tell you what happens on the east side of Cleveland, because we know nothing's happening on the east side of Cleveland. But let me let you in on a secret.
Yes, ma'am.
Not much is happening on the west side of Cleveland. Okay? Now, if you want to talk about downtown, then we can talk about what's going on down there, aside from the homeless people that are on at the Cosgrove Center.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about, yes, if you think that the east side got nothing, okay, then the city got nothing. If you don't know that I'm over in Old Brooklyn and I'm over in Tremont, but I can tell you, I'll tell you a secret I didn't want to tell you. I was at a meeting the other day, and one of the candidates for council said to me, he said, well, what you have to understand is we were talking about property taxes, and I hope we get to that. But he said, we get tax abatement. He said, our buildings are being constructed because we're bringing the right kind of people, and they're getting tax abatement. Well, I don't know what the right kind of people are. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know.
I was going to ask you that question.
I don't know what they are, because he didn't elaborate on it. But he said, we're giving to 15-year tax abatement. So, but he said, these are 300, some of these houses the condos are 350,000. So that's when this thought came to my head. Wait a minute. So you're not paying any taxes, and people on the east side and some on the west side, many on the west side that are middle class and broke, we're paying the taxes.
Yeah.
So if you can afford a $350,000 house, condo, townhouse, and you get tax abatement, and let's not kid ourselves. Sherwin-Williams got tax abatement too. So it's not just the houses.
Mhm.
So the people that are paying these property taxes, and by the way, there's 66% deficit on property taxes right now. Nobody can afford them now.
Oh,
Nobody.
okay.
So if in fact you are telling me that the east side's not getting anything, the west side's not, their property taxes went up too. Clevelanders.
Mhm.
And I hope we talk about the Browns, because I want to talk about that too if you got a minute. The Clevelanders are getting a raw deal. That's what's happening.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna stop you right there. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Let's talk about them.
They are going to be Brook Park Browns.
No,
No?
they're going to
Maybe?
be the Cleveland Browns, Brook Park.
Explain. Brown on Cleveland.
We're going to keep the name,
Okay.
Cleveland Browns,
Okay.
but they'll be located in Brook Park.
Brook Park Brown.
No, Cleveland Browns, Brook Park.
Listen, y'all, let me tell y'all something. I don't care what she's talking about right now. Listen, the bottom line is this. The Cleveland Browns are going to
They are going to
Brook Park,
yes.
right? They'll have what is that?
A dome.
A dome over their head.
Yes.
It's going to be state of the art.
Yes.
The businesses in Brook Park, they're going to boom. The best thing that can happen right now is that if you want to build a business and you're sports minded, that is the place to go. So you can say Cleveland all day long, because I am looking at new material, billboards that will say the Brook Park Browns. In the event that you are elected to the seat, how do you plan on building a relationship with the Brook Park Browns, Brown on Cleveland?
Okay, I can't agree with you that they're going to be the Brook, so we can agree, disagree.
Okay,
They're going to be Cleveland Browns at Brook Park. Okay, that's where I'm going to I'm going to stand on that.
Laverne
But let me tell you
Gore.
what I do know.
Yes.
I do know that the Haslams,
Okay.
if they are not considering joint economic development with Cleveland, they should be considering that. You can't just run away and leave us, but there is an opportunity if we have mature people in office for joint economic development, because guess what we all share? The airport. We share the airport.
And we share hotels.
Downtown. There you go. So there has to be a happy medium where there's joint economic development, but we don't have the type of maturity. We have somebody in office who has decided that his feelings got hurt, or he's mad, or whatever. But you cannot turn a city based on your feelings. Your feelings don't count. These people in Cleveland have to eat. They have to make money.
Okay.
They've got to sell T-shirts. They've got to cut. The Browns do mean something to us.
Okay.
And the Haslams, I would go to Mr. Haslam and say, how do we work this out? We can't lose, because whatever happens to Cleveland, as I was telling some suburban mayors, Cleveland is the heart of this body.
All day.
And if Cleveland ceases to exist, and you think Cleveland's going to go down, we're talking about Shaker, Westlake, we're talking about everybody goes down with us. And that's not negotiable, because this is the heart.
Brown on Cleveland, talking to candidate Laverne Jones, who's running for mayor for the city of Cleveland. She talked about the Cleveland Browns. I say Brook Park Browns. I hear what she's saying. We're going to agree to disagree. So I'm not going to shake my pom-poms on that, because I can't shake them 100%. Let's move on.
Yes.
Let's talk about the housing crisis. Let's talk about investors. Let's talk about development. I'm hearing a lot of council people who are people running for council. Everybody's talking about affordable homes. Can they or can they not do it? If you become mayor for the city of Cleveland, how are we going to move our housing stock forward? Brown on Cleveland.
Well, I just got finished telling you I bought a house that was built in 1922.
Okay.
And I bought it for $27,000. Now, I've put considerable amount more into it right now, but still, I believe in Cleveland, and we have housing stock out here that people rather would tear it down than build it up. Okay. But let's talk about affordable housing just for a minute, if you don't mind. Everybody uses that buzzword.
Simply a buzzword.
I was talking to a young man down at the Mission, he's at the city mission.
Okay, fair.
I had no idea you can work and live at the mission, because he goes to work. He just can't afford housing.
Okay.
Okay. And he said, Mrs. Gore, $700-800, I'm good. But they're talking about $1,300-1400 a month, and I'm not good. So when people are talking about affordable housing, we're not talking about just moving into neighborhoods that are not safe, or not clean, or not. We're talking about neighborhoods that have housing that we can put together. You have investors coming in here. Now, I'm not certain, but we had a guy that put up a billboard that said he bought crack houses.
And
okay, and we're selling them. Now, what is a crack house? Is that an identification process that you can redo crack houses? No, we can redo our neighborhoods. Where our current mayor on Leningrad, he grew up somewhere over there.
Don't believe that. No such a thing. No such a thing. He went to Trinity. Mom stays in Garfield Heights. Now his grandma stayed over there. That's what he say, but people don't believe it. Move on. Not an issue right now. If he comes into the little hut as he was invited, those questions would be for him. Brown on Cleveland.
All right. The community over there is abandoned houses.
It's a hot mess.
It is terrible. But why didn't somebody take 511, which the strings came off of all that $511 million? Why didn't we give money to each ward to say, let's redo and reinvigorate the housing stock? Why didn't we do that? That would have been the thing to do. We don't have to always build, because that building is giving tax abatement away. So we're still stuck. We have people that are senior citizens that are paying the property taxes for people to get tax abatement. Sherwin-Williams, they got tax abatement and then they sold their building.
All right.
So we have to get affordable housing.
All right.
And when they're talking about affordable housing, I'm not talking about the projects or public housing. I'm talking about affordable housing where you can raise your family. And I just put out tomatoes. So
what she's talking about, you guys, this is what she's talking about. She's talking about being able to get you a little hut like this, a little hut that's cozy, that you can call your own
home,
that's affordable and decent.
Yes.
Get yourself a little hut. There was a former senator who laughed at my little hut. But the reality, sidebar, y'all know I'm a little hater. I'm getting a little messy right now. Laughed at my little hut, but then I found out that she couldn't even afford her taxes in her big old palace. Anyway, so I understand about the hut, showing up do. Listen, let's move on. There's a question in the chat talking about, will you get rid of mayoral control? I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they're talking about the schools. I don't think you have that authority to. I think that's a state issue. I don't know.
Well, if they're talking about the schools, it is a state issue.
Right.
We asked them to turn it over to the mayor. I don't know if that's all that necessary. I think that if we can keep it, we can make it work. These are our children, and we have a responsibility for our children. We just need to make a serious effort toward educating and being responsible for our children.
All right, listen.
Yes.
When you first started talking, you were talking about the roads, our infrastructure. We're talking about the sinkholes. As mayor, what would you do to make sure that our roads and our structure is stabilized? Brown on Cleveland.
Again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we have spent most of our money. We had $511 million.
Okay.
And we've spent. The city of Cleveland is an old city. Our infrastructure goes back into World War II. Okay, we have clay infrastructure, and that's what you're seeing now happen. You're seeing the clay infrastructure eroding and water, and we've had heavy rains now. And that's why you see these sinkholes happening and those things. We have to go, and I know that there's going to be people that don't understand. We have to go to the federal government. I know that our current mayor has said the federal government is not coming to the rescue, but they can't afford not to come to the rescue. We are American citizens. And how can you just say the federal government's not coming to the rescue? They pulled back almost $400 million from us. Now, why they pulled it back, that's personal, and I don't really know what happened.
Got it.
But I can suggest to you that we have to be able to talk to all parties. If the state of Ohio is a party, we have to get our money. We have to go and talk.
You know, here's the issue I have, Candidate Gore. And
Go
I,
ahead.
I have this conversation with several people of different parties. If you're not willing to work between the lines and across the lines, you are not fit to serve. I'm going to say it again. If you're not willing to work with all people
Hmm.
to get the resources that you need to bring back into your community, to your state, to your city, you are not fit to serve. Point blank question to you.
Go ahead.
Are you willing to work between the lines and across the lines with all people in order to get the job done? Brown or Cleveland?
We can't afford not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, I am willing to work with anybody. But the day after I win, I'm taking
Uh-oh.
my car, Betsy, and I'm going to DC
Okay.
because I want them to understand what is happening in Cleveland and how we are willing to work and get what we need here. We are worth saving. We are in a very bad spot right now,
Mm-hmm.
but we are worth saving. And
Okay.
if I have to take you and 52 other people with me, we are going to present our case. We can't afford to have these type of attitudes against people that can decide our fate. We
Correct.
cannot. I'm willing to work across the aisle. But I'm running as an independent, Kim. So I voted Democrat, I
Shake
voted
your pom-poms.
Republican, I voted all the way across the aisle. I think it's time for our communities. I hate the fact that some people tell me the West Side and the East Side this is Cleveland. We are Clevelanders, and we're not going to get out of this unless we all decide to get out of it together. We are not going to get out of this. We have to. We have to work together. I want East Siders. I want West Siders. I
Mm-hmm.
want everybody, young, old, to come with me and present our case. We're not mad at anybody. We need the money from the federal government. I understand my opponent is saying that the federal government's not going to come to the rescue. Does anybody know that we pay taxes and the federal government doesn't produce a widget? All of that money is tax money. That's our money.
Okay.
It's not Democrat money. It's not Republican money. It's our money. And we have to go get it. And we have to present that case.
Point taken. Question for you.
Mm.
Cleveland voters,
Mhm.
Cleveland voters are interesting. They are very special individuals.
Mhm.
Very, very special.
Mhm.
There's a lot of colorism,
Mhm.
sexism,
Mhm.
racism,
Mhm.
classism,
Mhm.
and in some cases, just plain stupidity. You didn't say it, Brown on Cleveland.
All right.
This is my podcast, Lil Hut. Y'all know how I come. Do you think that Clevelanders are ready for a black woman? We had one woman,
Mhm.
that was Jane Campbell,
Mhm.
and she served one term.
Mhm.
Do you think Clevelanders are mentally ready to make the best decision for themselves, Brown or Cleveland?
And I don't want you to think that I've blown this ego or anything. I think that I am the black woman that they are ready for. I am the black woman that they are ready for.
Okay.
I don't think Cleveland is ready for uh, leadership, because if they had been ready for leadership, we just voted emotional. But we don't have time for that anymore. We need somebody that cares about Cleveland. We need somebody that cares about our children. We need somebody that cares about our seniors. And I am that person, and I have the qualifications to care and to implement policies and procedures that will afford us an opportunity to survive this, because it could get hard out here. We need somebody that cares. And there's nothing, and I know this is going to sound cliche, there ain't nothing like a mother's love. Nothing. Everybody turn on you in the whole world, but your mama going to be there with you.
Mama's still there.
There ain't nothing like a mother's love.
Once again, we've been talking to mayoral candidate Laverne Gore, and it always gets me how time always flies when you are in the midst of a great conversation. So it's been great, Candidate
Thank you
Gore.
so much for
It's
having me.
definitely has been great. So I normally don't do this.
Oh my.
I really don't. As you move through this election, I would like for you to come back, say, every maybe 3.5 weeks to give us an update about what's going on with your campaign. Actually, I don't do this,
Okay.
but because this race is so important, and I believe that people want to know. Because the other thing about the Little Hut is it's uncensored.
Mm-hmm.
We don't edit. What's ever said is said, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. So people appreciate that pure honesty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, you know, a news article where the reporter can edit something
Mm-hmm.
to sway voters a certain way, because that's just what they do. They're
Mm-hmm.
very subjective,
Sure.
right? I'm a reporter, but do I do that? Probably not. But on a podcast, you can't do it.
Okay.
So, because we're going to wrap this thing up, Candidate Gore, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to talk to Cleveland voters about why you believe you are the best candidate to serve us for the next 4 years come January, and what you are going to do once you get there inside of Cleveland City Hall, which in fact, what's the address? Is it 601 Lakeside? Well, somebody told me the other day that there's going to be a new desk. I don't know whose desk they're talking about. I don't know if they're saying, the current mayor is going to buy a new desk, or if there's going to be a new desk because Laverne Gore will be moving into City Hall. Brown on Cleveland, wrap this thing up for us. Laverne Gore, candidate in the hot seat under the hot light. Brown on Cleveland. That damn Brown on Cleveland. Did I scare you?
No.
Oh, I didn't do my job today, y'all. Come on, wrap this thing up.
This is a message I'd like to send to the voters of Cleveland. You see, at this point in our lives, racism, sexism, all of the things, the isms that have held us back, Cleveland is on the move. We have an opportunity. We can no longer afford to be lied to. And these last 4 years have been not honest with us. We have to move forward into the future. I am that person. I am ready. I have been ready for a long time. I want to serve you, and I will serve you to the best of my abilities. It's almost to the fact that this is our turn. It's not just my turn, it's our turn. Thank you for listening, and I appreciate everything you've done for me so far. Good night.
Brown, brown, brown. That damn Brown on Cleveland. Once again, we've been talking to mayoral candidate Laverne Gore. Laverne Gore. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Little Hut Podcast. One thing about the podcast, you can listen anytime, any place, anywhere. Make sure you connect with all of your Cleveland voters. Share the podcast. Why? Because information is so powerful. Again, I want to thank Candidate Gore for stopping by, because guess what, y'all? She ain't scared of Brown on Cleveland. I'm surprised about that.
Thank you, Kim. I appreciate everything.
Anyway, as I say each and every podcast, listen, you guys have a great evening. It's always great connecting with you. You know how I do it. Listen, if you need me, call me. You better not talk about me, because if you talk about me in private, I'm guaranteed to talk about you in public. It's just a fact. You don't have to be a star candidate. You don't have to be a
Thank you.
star to be on this show. You don't have to be a star, baby, but guess what? You got to be bold. I will talk to you again, once again, on Wednesday with my co-host, Miss Freda. Hey, Brown. That damn Brown on Cleveland. Say goodbye, Candidate Gore.
Good night, everybody, and thank you for having me.
I said, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right, you guys have a great one, okay? Yeah, you just been connected to the Little Hut Podcast. Brown, brown, brown. That damn Brown on